Hey, welcome back to the channel. Seeing an array of knives here on the table. What I'm going to be doing today is just showing some of my favorite knives and talking about them, letting you know why they're my favorite knives. And be great to hear your comments on what you think about that, whether you like the same type of knives or not. And this is not my best knives of 2024. It's also not my favorite knives. This is just a bunch of knives I like, and I'm going to, share why I like these knives. So I really hope that you join me in the video, and I'm going to head over there now. All right, welcome back to the Fortified Castle. Hi, all my viewers. Bonjour, privet, guten tag, hola, ciao, konnichiwa, and good day, mate, to my viewers, foreign viewers. And yeah, let's get right into it. I don't want it to take too long, but let's start with this one. This is the Rosecraft riverbend skinner. It is not really a bow skinner, but this is a recurve knife specifically, and we can think of it as a clasp knife. I really like these designs, and you'll see why here in a minute. But when you open this up and you put that into your hand, look at how well that curve just fits in my palm. And so these things just feel great in your hand. All your fingers just wrap around. You don't have any separate um, finger grooves, and just a fantastic knife. And you got a neat little Persian blade here. Not really a radical Persian blade or an original Persian blade, but it is because this tip extends above um, where the start of the blade here is, where it was flat. And so they kind of curve down here a little bit, curve in a little bit, and then up. Nice belly for slicing, hollow grind. But really, it's a pattern I like about this. And I also think it's just kind of attractive. That pattern, it's different and attractive. Here's another Rough Rider Reserve. This is a saach, and this is a Navajo design. This is a really big knife. As you can see, the blade alone is 4.5 inches. A lot of these were much larger than this. The Navajo design usually was a lot larger, and I really like this design. But it's very similar to the powder horn, which I like just as much. I'll put them side by side. You can see right there. And these are serpentine, but it's in banana clasp style designs. Again, that curving design that just fits your hand so well. And especially the Texas toothpick or powder horn, they have thin, sexy blades. Have just always attracted me. Those really thin blades. And they are different than a Navajo or a Leol, because the blades on the Leol and the Navajo are thicker and wider usually. So yeah, that design really appeals to me. The next one is just the American utility knife. Really love this pattern. It's an equal in design that fits into your pocket really well. A lot of them came with bagels on them. You can attach a lanyard to so you don't use them. But they really have everything you need. And nowadays, of course, the Victorinox, it's lighter. It has more function to these knives, and kind of made these utility knives extinct. But I just like the weight and the feel to these knives. And a lot of the older ones, had bone scales. And it's just one of my favorite patterns. So, yeah, American utility knife. Next one is a copperlock, and or a copperhead. So the copperhead again has kind of a class design, a rounded design that fits your palm, which I like. But it also has that copper head, and these heads are designed to hide that top of your slip joint right there, that can be kind of pokey into you. They were designed as two blade jacks, and not all of them, have. This has two main blades to it. Really cool looking knife, but some of them. Here's another one. This is a case, and I like this design better because it has a pin blade, and so I prefer a main blade and a pin blade. And these are just a great size. They fit your hand. Great little utility knives. And something else about these, look, your finger just locks in to that little hook right there. And so it's almost like uh, a little guard that kind of holds your finger. Very akin to that is this design, and these are copper locks. So they're basically copper heads that Case redesigned, put a lock-in um, feature on the knife. They're back locks, and I think these are the best little EDC knives you can get your hands on. With the single blade, you can see how it just locks your finger in right there, and just great little knives, fits your whole hand. It's a locking blade, if that appeals to you. Which sometimes you just better off with a blade that locks and doesn't fold over on you. And so it's got that feature to it. It's a single blade. A lot of guys just don't like more than one blade on a knife, and this is just a great EDC knife. Let's see. Another one is the Wharncliffe. And so most Wharncliffes back in the day were about this size. They were pen knives. This has two blades. It's a New York knife company Wharncliffe knife, and they were smaller. And these, I like them a lot. I have a bunch of these, but they're really small knives, and you can see it just doesn't fit your whole hand, whereas this does. And so this is a 4 7/8 inches, and that really appeals to me. I like a bigger knife. It fills your hand, and you've got this Wharncliffe blade that is just awesome, awesome Wharncliffe blade. It's an attractive knife. Again, it's a little different design. You don't see a lot. I think it's very symmetrical and appealing when you look at these. Here's another one. This is a Puma. Same thing. It is, a penknife design. It has two blades, but it's larger and so much easier to use. That serpentine design just kind of, you know, uh, very easy. If you're using it this way, you don't have to cock your hand up so far to get to the tip of the blade. And if you're using your fingers, same thing. Gives you a lot of control over that blade and the knife. And so, yeah, I like that Wharncliffe design. Moving on, I like this is a QSP Hedgehog. I just love these little knives. It's a slip joint design, but they have models that are not slip joints. Um, you've got a razor blade on here that works just like a sheep's foot or a coping blade. Very sharp point A lot of people really like these, but again, it has that rounded clasp design that fits into your hand perfectly. And I really like this. I like this knife, but I like the class of knife that this is, and that is a modern slip joint. And so you see the pins here. It's got an adjustable pivot. You could take this part. This knife right here, I went for a swim in salt water, had this in my pocket, and you can see that salt water has kind of greened out the amber jig bone on here. And I rinsed this out in cold water multiple times and soaked it in oil. But the thing is, you just can never get all the salt out of this knife. There's definitely, salt that gets down in there between the scales, between the pins. You can't clean it. And that's the advantage of these modern slip joints. You can take this completely apart, completely clean it, make sure all of the salt is out of there, and put it back together, and it's good as new. Here's one. It's a fox um, sailor's knife, but it's very similar to a Nautica, if you know what a Nautica is. It's a little sodbuster design. Again, you got that clasp design here, and just fill the hands great. And again, you can take it apart. Very attractive, natural micarta, modern scale materials, modern steel in this. And here's another one. This Kaiser. I love this knife. I think it's really well designed, and it's a small knife with the finger tool, so you can chop up and get all your fingers on this thing, or you can work it back like this if you want a little longer reach. But this thing is just fantastic. In 690 steel on here, G10 scales. You could take it apart, clean it, or take it apart and replace it, and parts on it, and they just work great. I love those modern slip joints. Here's a knife. This is a Civivi. It's a modern knife. Kind of cool looking. Has that broke back clasp design here, which really works well. Same design on a Natrix or some of the ZT knives, and it really gives, with this broken clasp style design, it really lets you get down without being uncomfortable to do point work. So the whole knife I like, but really what I wanted to show is the Damascus, and this is just fantastic Damascus. Look at it on the sharpening choil there, and just beautiful, that Damascus. um, and that's why I like that knife. Here's another one. This is a Berenson. Look at that Damascus. It's just so cool and different, and goes well with either a neutral background like this. Looks really sharp and expensive, or on a darker background. I think the Damascus also looks good, but yeah, I think most people would want to have some Damascus in their collection. Where do we go from here? Let's see. The Serpentine design, as in these knives here, these are Serpentine designs where the knife is kind of like a snake or an S pattern, where it comes in here, comes out, and then comes back. And that's what you get on these um, modern, small, utility type traditional knives. This is a jack, a Texas jack right here by Case. Um, a 92 pattern, I believe. Let me see. Whoop. I think this is 92 pattern. Yeah, 92 pattern. But you get the same thing with that Serpentine design. You can't really take a full advantage of this one, but it dips down here, which allows you to put your thumb there and get a better angle when you're doing work, and also your finger to have greater control. Where these really serpentine design really shines is in a three or more bladed knife. And that brings up the next pattern, which is a Sowbelly, and one of my favorites. Basically, on a utility knife pattern, these Sowbellys have a really deep or low um, serpentine belly on them. And the knives are large and robust, and I like that. They're a little heavier, but it doesn't bother me. And again, you've got that going in there. And so when you're doing detail work, you can see my wrist is just straight, and the tip will get just right down to your work without having to get on top like this and go. Be uncomfortable for your uh, wrist. On the other side, you have this hump, and look how it just naturally points the knife down. And that's what I really like about the Sowbelly. I mean, to get right up on something, I hardly have to bend my wrist just a little bit to work with the tip and do detail work. And this is my favorite design, but it is serpentine. You can see here, this is a mini trapper. You can see the serpentine design on the mini trapper. And I think that's what people uh, like about the serpentine design. This one is a canoe. Canoe is like a copperhead, but it's got a copperhead bolster on both ends. And so, again, very easy to pocket these knives. The thing I like about the canoe is the blades are a little bigger and more robust. And so, there you go. This is a queen, I think. Yeah, queen knife. And you've got that big, robust blade. And let me pull up. So here's a Schrade 825. It's a big knife. It's 3/4, and this is it's actually a little longer than this, but you can see how much more robust the knife is over a Stockman, a larger Stockman, and that's the advantage of a canoe. Also, there's a lot of guys who just don't like the Stockman design. They don't like three blades on their knife, and so if you're excuse me, if you're a one of those guys, look at the difference in those blades. Look at that. Much more, much higher, and more robust. And that's the advantage of having a canoe. If you look at the pen blade, it's just, massive, strong pen blade too. So these, if you're doing like heavier work, but not necessarily like in the trades or anything, although it would be good for that. But if you just happen to do heavier work now and then, the canoe is just a fantastic knife to have in your stable in rotation, and just a great little addition for working. So next is this knife right here. It's a Buck Sprint. This is a pro model, so it has S30V drop point blade that comes to really nice strong point here. Look at that. Really nice strong point. Very sharp. The jimping is different. aesthetically, and also, it still does the job. So I can feel that jimping. It grabs my thumb, and yet, it's not wearing my hand out. Nice micarta scales um, on this burlap micarta on this model, but they also come in models that are much less expensive and affordable in a thermoplastic type handle and aluminum handles. This is a great model buck. I tell you what, I just fell in love with this knife. Action's good on it. Very rugged and durable. I pocketed this for a long time, and it's just become one of my favorite knives to use. It does a lot of work. It's not as big. That's it. Next to the 110, it's not as rugged or as strong, um, but it's very similar to a 112 or a bug out or a Deca. About the same size as a Deca and about the same size as a bug out, Benchmade bug out. A lot less money and just a fantastic knife. This knife here, this is a German soldier's knife, and they're made by Victorinox. But you can get this same model in a bunch of different names from Victorinox today. And these knives really came out in the 70s, mid 70s. And then by 1986, they were in the catalog. A single bladed version was called the Alpine. They had a Cowboy, which is a multi-bladed version, and they had this version, which was what was that? What was that? The Hunter is what they called it. So three different models. This model was basically called a Hunter. Later, this was made for the German Army, but later, you can buy them today as a Hunter today or the Tracker, things like that. It takes this knife, which a lot of people feel is just not heavy enough for hunting, right? And great for around the camp, but not heavy enough for hunting. And takes it to 111 millimeter, 4¼ inches long. You got a one hand open blade there that locks, fantastic, nice lock and blade for a little skin and blade right there. Yet it has everything that your Spartan has. It has, the cap lifter, the can opener, has the saw, and on the back you have a Phillips in a awl, and that the awl and the saw blade is kind of my got to have out in the woods. They just really come in handy. So yeah, I love this little knife. This is that compared to a buck 110. And the reason I have the 110 here is it's still one of my favorite designs. It's a clasp design, has this kind of curving feature, and it just grabs your hand. And on these big knives, they're wider here, and so they not only feels like it's just grabbing your hand, like it doesn't want to come out. Um, they're thick enough to do serious work without your hands cramping up, which is a real problem with a folder like this that's 3/8 of an inch wide. If you start doing a lot of work with these, that thin back just kind of wears on your hand. And so these larger clasp knives are just fantastic for out in the woods, fishing, hunting, bushcraft work, woodwork. Case 65, 62, 65, same thing, but it offers 2 blades rather than Buck's 1 blade. And again, that clasp design is just hard to beat. And isn't it interesting? You see it in a lot of these knives, that clasp design, because it's just hard to beat. This is a more modern tactical folder right here. I just, I like this knife a lot. These are great EDC knives. Lighter, and even though it's a big knife, it's on the smaller side of the big knife scale. So these are smaller than, say, a Recon 1 or, knives similar to that. And just a great design on a knife. Get a little jimp in there that comes up, keeps your finger from going over the blade. Yet if you want to go over the blade, you can, and do a little more detail work on it. Great designs, and again, it has that clasp design. You see that a lot on modern tactical folders, and a lot on a bunch of different folders that aren't tactical folders, just modern knives incorporate that clasp design. It's classic, it works, it feels great, it fits a variety of hand sizes, whether you have small or large hands. Just a fantastic knife design with the clasp style. So let me see if I missed anything. Boop, 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 boop. Nah, I didn't miss anything. So I hope you find that thought-provoking and interesting, but that's some of the knives I like and why I like them. Thanks for dropping in and checking out the channel. I really appreciate y'all, and I'll see you in the next video.